Welcome back to the Ticket Setup series. In today's session, we're going to further explore Tikit's automation capabilities with our integration into Microsoft Power Automate. And specifically in this section, we're going to highlight our ability to create a Microsoft Entra account after a new hire process is initiated by an end user. Now, we've been working through different new hire possibilities throughout the Setup Series Power Automate section. And that new hire process that we were working on has typically had two phases. There's been an approval phase and an account provisioning phase. What we're going to do in this section is in the account provisioning phase, next to those few manual tasks that we've seen in some of the other Setup Series Power Automate sections, we're going to add a Power Automate task. And that Power Automate task is going to send a request up to Power Automate that once the approval happens for the new hire process, we're going to automatically create the user account for that new hire in Microsoft Entra, and then we're going to come back and mark that particular task as successfully completed. Now, to set that up, this particular section is going to be three parts. Part one is going to be setting up the lifecycle. Part two is creating the Power Automate flow, and then part three will be demonstrating how that all works together. Now, before I actually show you setting up the lifecycle, I want to highlight something that you're seeing on the screen right now. When I am initiating a new hire process in my business, I'm asking the end user or the agent to fill out a form. My form for my new hire process has first name, last name, job title, department, start date. And the reason I'm highlighting this is because I want to use the information submitted here to bring into Power Automate to create that Microsoft Entra account. And I'm going to show you how to do that in part two here, but I wanted you to see this in the front end so that when we go into Power Automate, that you can link the two and why that's important. Now, you can ask any information on a form. These are the things that I care about in my business to be able to also create that account. Now, when ready, you will move into the Ticket Agent portal to set up the lifecycle to support that Power Automate task integration. So I'll go over to the Ticket Agent portal, and I'll go over to the settings area here, and I'll go over to Lifecycle. And I'm going to use my new hire automation lifecycle that I've been using in other Setup Series sections. And as I mentioned earlier, this new hire automation lifecycle has two phases. There's an approval phase and account provisioning phase. And the idea here is that once the approval phase is approved, we're going to move to the account provisioning phase. Now, currently there's two manual tasks in this phase. There is set up payroll account and set up HR account. Now, in my business, every new hire gets both of these, but I also want to create the user's Entra account. And I can do that by adding a Power Automate task here towards the bottom. So if I want to send this up to Power Automate to initiate that, the first step is adding that particular task to this lifecycle / phase. Now, when I click Add Flow here, I'm being asked the title of this particular Power Automate task. This title is actually what you're going to use to describe the name of the task inside a ticket. That name is going to surface itself up in Power Automate, and you're going to reference that to trigger off of to then create the account. And we'll show that to you in Power Automate. But the idea here is you want to make this as descriptive as possible. So for the title here, I'll just say create Entra account. And then when you're happy with the title, you just click add here. And then that will add that particular task to the phase that you want. The other thing I want to highlight here is that you can have one or multiple Power Automate tasks / flows in a phase. You can also have one or multiple Power Automate tasks / flows across multiple phases, just depending on what you're looking to do with this particular lifecycle. Now, once you have your lifecycle set up and you select Save here, you're actually now ready to go and link this up to Power Automate, which is what we're going to do in part two of this Setup Series section. Hope you enjoyed the video and looking forward to seeing you on the next one.